This will pick it up, I imagine. And then that way, I don't need to know what I'm saying. How long have you been with McKamey?
I have been here just since October of 2020.
Did you come in as a executive director?
Yes.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay, very nice, very nice. Where have you come from, if you don't mind?
I have been in the field for more than 20 years.
Okay.
The bulk of my time was spent with the Humane Society of the United States.
Oh, wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
And then my position just before this one was Director of Community Initiatives for Humane Pennsylvania.
Really? Very nice. So from Pennsylvania nonetheless?
Well, I grew up in New Jersey around that area.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Just curious.
Yeah.
Do y'all, I saw on the website that the live release rates were out for 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the numbers for 2022 yet?
For 2022, I believe we were at 88%.
88?
Something like that.
Yeah, or around.
It's always tricky because the numbers are what they are. They really don't mean anything.
Right. It's just a rough
Yep.
guide to work off of.
Yeah.
With the Trailblazers program, how many, I guess, participants, trailblazers, if you will, do you have?
I don't know the exact number, but I can get that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. I noticed on the website mention of Sonia Young, the Purple Lady. Is she just a donator, a creator, founder?
She was one of the founders, the original founders, and she was on our board throughout the organization's entire 15-year history.
Really?
Yeah.
And I heard that, or I talked to people, family, friends, and they were like, yeah, she was some massive donator, blah, blah, blah. Her husband
She was a huge fundraiser for the causes that she invested in.
Nice,
so for the zoo and the children's theater and McKamey in particular, she was really magical about getting people together and getting them to contribute to the cause. So
very nice.
yeah.
Are there any stats on and you don't have to be specific, you know what I mean, but the number of volunteers, more or less, are you in high demand for volunteers? A high need, I guess you could say?
There's always a high need for volunteers and fosters in particular, definitely. Especially as, we start getting into spring and summer, we have more and more kittens, orphans, neonates that come in that really need the foster care. That's where our biggest need usually is. Yeah.
I heard you mention you had more cats. Is there more? Like you said, just more cats than there would be dogs that you notice?
Well, there's kind of a sheltering phenomenon called kitten season.
Really?
So and depending on kind of where you are geographically, the kitten season is in some places, particularly further down south, where it's nice and warm all year round. It's kitten season all year round.
Yeah.
If you go further up north, where the weather only gets warmer for a few months out of the year, that's the kitten season. Yeah, it shortens it. For us, it usually starts in March, April, and goes all the way probably at least through October. But that's when the cats are mating and having litter after litter, and we're just getting inundated with those litters.
I believe we are on more or less now, I guess not statistical side, but if you yourself had a driving reason or motivation for someone to donate to, what would it be? You know what I mean? I guess what's been your drive, I guess you could say, to help out at McKamey?
I think what makes McKamey really unique is our mission statement is saving animals, helping people. So we're focused not just on taking animals in and finding them new homes, but on trying to keep them in the homes that they have, trying to keep them, with the people who love them.
Yeah.
So I think that makes us a very unique organization and differentiates us from a lot of others. And it's that kind of presence in that community and the desire to serve the community that sets us apart.
Awesome. What is probably the most satisfying interaction that you can remember, whether it be a particular animal that you took care of for a stint, or even then somebody that you've volunteered, you know what I mean?
It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
It's, seeing the animals that come in really dire circumstances and, watching the staff go into action to really care for them and then either get them home to a better environment or find them a new home.
It's kind of it's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's the cycle.
That's what satisfies you in this. Are there any particular events that you would like mentioned? I know you said that you just had a big fundraiser last week,
Yep.
but so the speech will be within the next week or two. So is there anything coming up in summer?
I believe it's June 10th. We're going to have Pawpalooza, our second annual at Coolidge Park down by the river. And it's just a big, huge day of fun about dogs and for dog lovers and all of that. So we encourage everybody to come down.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to try to come
down. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
Are there any honorable mentions that you have? I guess that you could say, I guess this kind of ties back into the most satisfying interaction, but is there just somebody in particular that I guess you won't mention? Or anything in particular?
Well, I think it's important that, all the staff, whether they're working here at McKamey or other shelters, really get recognized.
Yeah.
Because, this is not a job where you're going to make a lot of money or get a lot of perks or, even get holidays off. The center has to be open 365 days a year. Rain or shine, doesn't matter. Holidays, and the staff is incredibly
no matter
dedicated.
What's happening outside.
Yeah, they are here helping the animals no matter what, and I don't think that they get the credit that they deserve. It truly is a calling to do this job.
Walking up, I wouldn't have expected, just sitting out in the lobby, seeing the amount of people, which it wasn't a lot, but I wouldn't have expected this many people to be here this early. You know what I mean? Per se.
Starting at 7 a.m. and we go in today, we're actually closed. So we're, down on staff.
Yeah.
So usually you see a lot more people.
A lot more bustling on Tuesdays and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
How is it to work with pets daily on a scale of 1 to 10?
It can be amazing and it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the circumstance.
Okay.
Every single animal that comes into us is a victim.
Yes.
In one way or other, either of intentional abuse or neglect, or they've just been displaced from their homes. So there's a phenomenon called secondary post-traumatic stress disorder, or compassion fatigue.
Compassion fatigue?
That's experienced by first responders, for example. It's when you deal with victims every day, you start to kind of take on their trauma secondarily. So there's a psychological component to working here, as well as, not making a lot of money, and it's being very physically demanding and all that. Veterinarians and those in the animal welfare field have one of the highest rates of suicide. And most people aren't aware of that, and it's in large part because of this secondary post-traumatic stress disorder, taking on the burdens of the victims that you deal with every day.
Yeah.
So even though it's very rewarding to see them go out, there is a lot of stress and downside that comes with working in this field. So it requires a lot of special commitment and dedication of our staff.
And strong mentality, I feel like, even then, true.
Yeah.
Because
resilience.
A little bit of myself, you see those stories that, the public, they can see those stories. Like, I saw the story about Lilo, and that, tear to my eye, and even then trying to write about it again, tear to the eye, but the public's able to see that and pass on. They're not able, they're not in it and involved, going home and then thinking about it because they have to go back and deal with it again tomorrow.
Yep, and compound that by, if there are 500 animals in the shelter that day, there are 500 different stories that day, and there are
500 Lilos.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's a lot. It takes a really special person to dedicate their life to doing this. So I'm really fortunate to work with an amazing group of people.
And then, last one.
Yeah.
Favorite quote?
Favorite quote?
It could be...
Oh, boy. That's a toughie. I think most of what we do is don't let perfect get in the way of good. But sure that's not the best quote about
No.
working here. So
I can respect it even then. And this is just more or less casual conversation. You know what I mean at this point.
it's just for us, keep the ball moving forward, even if it's one step forward, two steps back. We got to keep going and trying new things for the animals.
Yes. I believe that I am with